Hi, I'm Dr. Jenny Sue. I am a scientist and I love helping students to do real, authentic science. Now, I understand you are interested in learning more about how the Egyptian culture mummified their leaders. So, first of all, I encourage you to pick up some great books like this one here, Tut's Mummy Lost and Found. It has a lot of good information about the Egyptian culture and what happened. Now, really quickly, the Egyptian culture believed that when someone died, their spirit went to the afterworld and their body joined them there. So the whole point of the mummification process was to preserve the body. So in this investigation, we are going to look at how mummification happens. Now, to do this, you're going to see in just a second how to set up your investigation, but we're going to investigate the question: what happens when we take an apple, well, a piece of an apple, and we put that piece of an apple, wrap it up in gauze, just like the Egyptians did, and we put it in salt. Now, the Egyptians used a naturally occurring substance called natron, and I encourage you to research that because after this first investigation, there might be opportunities for you to design an experiment. So this is what I like to call descriptive research, because we're going to see what happens when we put an apple slice wrapped in gauze in salt for 7 weeks. So that's the question we're going to investigate. And if you want to, just go ahead and take a regular slice and just stick it next to your wrapped up mummy apple slice and see what happens to just a regular apple slice. So let me show you how to set it up. Okay, so these are the materials you're going to need for this first investigation. Remember, our investigation question that we're going to be exploring is what happens to an apple when it is placed in salt for about 6 weeks. So that's what we're going to be investigating, is what happens to this apple. How does it change over those 6 weeks when it's wrapped in gauze and it's placed in salt? So you're going to need an apple. You're also going to need an adult to help you because we're going to need to cut the apple into small pieces. You're going to need some sort of gauze to mummify your apple. You're going to need salt, and you're going to need a container. The other piece we're going to need to do is we're going to need a scale in order to find the mass of our apple before we begin. So I'm just going to go ahead and start cutting this. And what we want to do is you want to get it into quarters. So I just want to take a small, and these are actually apples that we found when we were on a camping trip. So they are out of a tree that was in the camping area, and so I thought they were cute. So I still have them, wanted to collect the seeds. So you need a piece just like this. So we are going to find our mass, and we need to record this. So this is 8 grams. So we are starting with our apple at 8 grams. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, let me move this out of the way. I'm going to take, and I want to put down just a little bit of salt. Again, remember, the Egyptians used a naturally occurring material in their environment called natron. And so we're going to take our little apple piece and we're going to mummify him by just wrapping it up just like that. Okay, so we have wrapped him in a cloth just like the Egyptians would do. And I'm going to set this down into our salt. And then I'm going to cover it just like that. And now I'm just going to leave this for 7 weeks, and we're going to see what happens to our apple at the end of that 7 weeks. So that's our investigation question. What happens to the apple after it's been sitting in salt for 7 weeks? So check back later and let's see what your apple and what my apple is doing in 7 weeks. You have your apples all set up? So I do. So I've got my regular apple here that's just in a container. And then I have my apple that's been wrapped in gauze and it's sitting in my salt. And so I'm just going to put these two pieces somewhere safe where my dog can't get to it, my little brother, little sister can't get to it, and I'm going to let it sit for 7 weeks. So let yours sit for 7 weeks. Now, make observations a couple of times a week. Don't take your apple out of the salt. Don't disturb it. Leave it. But make observations of any changes that you see about your salt, anything in the container. Just write down those observations. And you might want to write down how your regular apple, does it change over the next 7 weeks? I don't know. We'll have to find out. So have fun doing science and come back to my channel and tell me what you learned after your 7 weeks. Have fun doing science.